So let's talk a bit about control, trust, and surrender on the spiritual path, because they all hang together, creating a kind of prison in a way. So start with this. Trusting in life itself. Trust is at the heart of surrender, and its absence is what fuels the need for control. Control arises when there is a fundamental lack of trust. Trust in life, trust in the unknown, trust in the intelligence that moves through all things. The ego, feeling separate and vulnerable, believes it must take charge, must secure its survival, must ensure that things unfold in a way that feels safe and predictable. But the spiritual path is precisely the unraveling of this illusion of control, the invitation to lean into something greater than the personal will. True trust is not blind faith, nor is it wishful thinking. It is a deep, embodied knowing that life is holding us, even when it feels chaotic or painful. This kind of trust does not mean everything will go the way we want, nor does it promise that suffering will disappear. Rather, it means we no longer resist what is. We no longer grasp for certainty. Trust allows us to meet experience directly, without trying to manipulate or escape it. And yet, trust is often broken by life, by others, by the wounds of our past. This is why learning to trust is not a simple decision, but a process of healing. It requires feeling where we are still holding fear, where we still brace against life, where we are still carrying the belief that we must protect ourselves from existence itself. It requires allowing ourselves to soften in places where we have been hardened. In the end, trust is not about trusting in a particular outcome, but trusting in life itself, trusting that even in the breaking, in the uncertainty, in the moments where everything falls apart, something deeper is at work. And paradoxically, it is only when we release our grip, when we allow ourselves to trust, that life moves through us with grace, and the need for control dissolves into the flow of being. It kind of says it, really. Control, trust, surrender are all entangled with each other. And unless that relationship in a way can come open, can fall open, then we sort of end up stuck, staying or remaining stuck on the path. We seek, the ego self, the self, only really knows control. And so, and because of wounding or just life itself, because of the like it said in those words, the issue of separation, because we're so steeped in separation, because we believe ourselves on this level to be separate, because everything is separate and appears to be separate, and we've become convinced that that's the only reality, the reality of separation. Then, the self, the ego self, who's, the arbiter of our decisions, sees the world as unsafe. sees our position in the world as insecure. And so, it's worked out, we've worked out in an insecure, unsafe world, all we can do is exert control. And that control is not just a control of our inner world, it's also a control of our outer world. So we sort of get hijacked by seeking to control everything unconsciously and consciously because we don't trust. Because we don't trust ourselves, because we don't trust life, because maybe we trusted life once when we were very young and that trust was betrayed in many ways. I see this again and again, and I kind of know it in my own life in the past, that to be so steeped in innocence, and to trust in a way, because it's, when we're born, there is a certain blind faith. It's not questioned, is it? We don't have to work out trust. We just sort of haven't got any choice, so we trust. And for so many, that trust is compromised at best, betrayed at worst. Through all the reasons that we go into and talk about endlessly, of conditioning, abuse, neglect, yada, exactly, all of that. And so, there it is. We stop trusting ourselves, life, other people. And so when the issue comes up on the spiritual path about surrender, that's what it's really talking about. The issue of trying to kind of remember almost, or court, or fall into, or at least consider, and be willing to consider that there's something deeper than this surface level of trust or not trust, of control or not control. That there's a way of really seeing what's happened, seeing seeing the patterns of control and how they play themselves out in our lives. I've seen that. I saw that in my own life. I saw that I didn't trust life. Once trust is broken in life, it's quite hard to get it back. A sort of, depending on when the trust initially was broken. Usually in youth, right? Or in childhood. But it's on the path, on the deepest spiritual path. This is something that needs to be explored, and so this is what I'm talking about. That's the invitation of this video, is to invite each one to explore within themselves, where is control playing itself out, what's going on with the issue of trust with life. Do we trust that life is innately good somehow, that even in the apparent bad things, even in apparent negative things that happen to us, is there some kind of goodness deeper than the surface? Are we held by a goodness deeper than the superficial? Can we afford to let go a little bit more and say, I'm going to trust life, that life, somehow there's an intelligence deeper than me, deeper than my own intelligence in a way, when it's rooted in separation, in the controlling one. Can I trust that a little bit more? You don't have to really work it out. You don't have to barter. You say, well, I'll only trust a little bit more when I've had proof that there's a natural intelligence or something deeper to trust. It doesn't work like that. It's not a bartering game. It's not a bartering game at all. It's like, just to focus in a sense on not what surrender means, but where is control endlessly playing out in my life? And how is it playing out? And what is the control really all about? Why is it that I feel, what am I so afraid of? What is it that I can't trust? What is it that I'm so afraid of that I feel I need to control everything about myself or about the world? And what would it be to really consider letting go of that a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more? Because then we have to meet the unknown. It's like we don't trust the unknown, do we? We don't trust not knowing. But the juice and the intelligence and the freedom is in the unknown. That's the deal, really. That's the deal. On the spiritual path, as you go deeper, is the peace and the equanimity and the grace and the love are in the unknown, in the giving up the known, of being willing to cede control, give up needing control. Say, well, I don't know, but I'm willing to look, I'm willing to explore, I'm willing to go beyond this habitualness within myself. This is really profoundly deep, to start doing that within one's own life, to be willing to go beyond one's habitual tendencies around the issue of control and trust and what it means to surrender. So, yeah, I hope that's spoken to you a little bit and provoked a little bit of digestion for you. Be well. Take care.